Go. Well, hello everybody, and it's been a little while since I made a video. Been real busy, been out working and all that, and well, there was a delay in this video because of the whole situation with Antonio Brown, and I guess now I get to preview the for the last time Oakland Raiders of 2019 as they make their way uh, next year to Las Vegas. Um, you know. So someone got me this, and I thank him very much. It's kind of, you know, I guess melancholy that I did get this, but thank you to the beautiful person who did. Even though they're going to be gone, and they're going to, you know, go to. Oh, I made that. Uh, go to Nevada. At any rate, since it is their last season in Oakland, maybe a little breakdown of their 47-year seasons in Oakland and 13 in Los Angeles, as you see the banner up there, for their last Super Bowl, which was a long time ago, almost 40 years ago. Anyway, uh, the team barely started in the AFL. First 3 years were awful. They were well below 500, in danger of bankruptcy. The owner of the Bills, Ralph Wilson, had to loan Wayne Valley money to keep the Oakland Raiders running in the AFL. And they didn't have a stadium of their own, so they played at Candlestick Park at San Francisco and Kezar Stadium, where the San Francisco 49ers played until they moved into Candlestick, which amazed me when I was looking it up because the 49ers didn't play in Candlestick right away when it was built. It was only built for the San Francisco Giants baseball team when they moved out here, uh, along with the Brooklyn Dodgers. Of course, the Giants played at Sill Stadium, a minor league ballpark where the San Francisco minor league team played before. Um, Sills, the Sill Stadium. So um, then the Raiders in 1963, they made their makeshift little high school type stadium. Uh, and Al Davis became the coach. He was an assistant with the LA Chargers and then San Diego Chargers when they moved down. Excuse me, became the head coach and right away led him from, I believe it was two, oh, two, four, 2-12 to 10-4. Back then, they only played 14 games, just like the NFL. Anyway, it was at that time the best turnaround, at least in AFL history at the time. And then the division championships kept going and winning. The conference championship finally happened in 1967, and they played in the Super Bowl. They're now left to become commissioner of the AFL. New coach came in, John Roush, was there for about 3-4 years. Al Davis came back to be the owner and managing partner, I think is the right term. Then John Madden came in after they couldn't get over the humps of the AFL teams. At that time, there was Kansas City, who always reigned supreme. They were in the first Super Bowl. Raiders were in the second and lost. Miami was coming up, and because all the teams the Raiders were, getting beat by, and even though Raiders were having great years overall, I think only their bad year was 1973. But every other year was either a division year or winning season. And then Pittsburgh came in the 70s and started to win, and the Raiders couldn't get over that hump. and finally beat Miami, but they couldn't beat Pittsburgh. Then finally, 1976 game, they beat Pittsburgh, end up going to the Super Bowl in Pasadena, beating Minnesota. Shout out Carlos De La Torre in the Rose Bowl at Pasadena, and that was their first one in 76-77 season. Played 2 more years under Madden, then he retired. Suddenly, he just lost I believe he just lost the heart and soul to coach even more, and he hated flying, so that's why he rode buses anytime he did television games. And after that, there was some soul searching. 79 had Dan Pastorini at quarterback, and Newcastle characters as the old Castle characters started to retire, like Ken Stabler or go somewhere else. The defense started to get younger, offense as well. But in 1980, somehow, with a quarterback named Jim Plunkett, who was downgraded, criticized, and was to be a bust with New England and San Francisco in the 70s, became the quarterback in 1980, at least the starting quarterback, and led them all the way to a wild card spot. Ended up playing San Diego, championship game, beat them, going to the Super Bowl in New Orleans and defeating the Philadelphia Eagles. They had 2 rings. 81 was a off year, and before that, let me say that before that, 1980, I was reading about this. Al Davis, he wanted to move the Raiders then, after the 1980 season, to Los Angeles because he felt like the Oakland Coliseum was not a suitable place for a professional football team anymore. And it's just funny. This is, you know, happening through the organization, as you will know. And we'll go down the line about that. So in 1980, they won the Super Bowl, lost many games in 1981, and nobody really knew the stableness of staying in Oakland. And then Al Davis got a lawsuit. He won and moved the team to Los Angeles. And from what I'm told, I wasn't around back then, but what I was told, it was very disheartening to the Oakland fans. And fast forward, it's happening again. So I feel bad for the 50-plus-year-olds that know when they left and now they're leaving again. I feel bad for those people. Yeah. So 82 they moved to LA, but they still train in Napa. It's just weird. They go back and forth during the week. They go play the games in LA, go back to Napa to train, to practice. It was just the weirdest thing. They drafted in 82 USC's Marcus Allen, who played at the Coliseum, so it all worked out for him. Excuse me. Al moved the team, I believe it was June of 82. So usually you like to, if you do relocate, it's like right away, like the Chargers did from San Diego to LA in 2017. Of course, with the court situation, it went long and long and long, and I guess he did what he felt best. He figured he was going to get a new stadium somewhere in Los Angeles, but it didn't happen throughout the years, and we'll get to that once we get to 87. So in 82, strike season, by the way, so it's less games. They get in the playoffs, and they lose to the New York Jets. So it was a good start, but the NFL at the time, it was just unstable because there would be another strike in '87. But in '83, the right cast of characters came in and came back. Hall of Famers are on the team, just like in the '70s, and they had a tremendous season. The '76 Raiders went 13-1. Is that right? Yeah, 13-1. They still played 14 games at the time. The 1983 Raiders went 13-3, but dominated games like no other Raider team I think did. Uh, Maybe the '76 team. That's for debate though. Uh, End up uh, having a home schedule at the LA Coliseum, which I couldn't believe this, but no home game was sold out because at that time there were no tarps, and it was the Raiders, and it was the dark Coliseum, so nobody wanted to deal with going there and seeing a team that wasn't theirs. So yeah, you had to fill 93,000 every game. That really wasn't going to happen unless it was like a big game, and the front runners would go, or you know, it would be a hip thing to go. So they didn't sell out a game until the AFC Championship game against Seattle. Shout out Todd Mesky. Um, they had a divisional playoff game against Pittsburgh, and that didn't sell out, so that wasn't seen in LA. So the next game, the next week, was sold out, so people finally got to see a home game on television for the LA Raiders if they wanted to join with the team. And they ended up winning, beating Seattle, going to the Super Bowl in Tampa, and defeating the Redskins 38-9. And that's been the last Super Bowl since. The MVP was Marcus Allen. 84, 85, they have great years, but they lose in the playoffs to Miami in 84, 85 to New England. And there's tension with Marcus Allen and Al Davis. And that leads to the team bringing in all these different running backs who are not him. But 86, they have a good start, but finish real bad. Mark Wilson takes over, but Jim Plunkett was injured, so Mark leaves. 87, 88, Mark is still there. Again, bad years. 88. O Jackson comes in 87, has a great Monday night game, has a rookie year, even though it wasn't really his NFL rookie year, but he was drafted 85, but he decided to play baseball in Kansas City because he didn't want to go to Tampa. So 87 goes by, 88 goes by, they have subpar years. 89 comes, and the year before 88, I should say, they hired Mike Shanahan. He wanted to change the Raiders to be softer, and that wasn't the thing with Al Davis. He wanted the Raiders to be his brand, his style. So after 4 games, the '89 season, they Al fired Shanahan, and Art Shell became the coach. And Art Shell was the first black head coach, and I failed to mention about Tom Flores from 80. No, from what was it? No, yeah, from 1980 to '87, Tom Flores became the coach, the first Latino head coach. And then after Shanahan, Art Shell became the first black head coach in the NFL. So Al was at the pioneer of that. I think he was the first to draft a black quarterback as well. And then Denver did after that. So go to 1989. They finish the year well, but can't get in the playoffs. 1990, they have a great year, get into the playoffs, but lose to Buffalo. Same thing in '91, get in, but lose to Buffalo, lose Bo Jackson. with his knee injury that didn't seem like much, but then it was much at the end of his football career. He would go on to still play baseball as he was a two-sport athlete. Um, 92 was bad. 93, they barely get in wild card, and then they uh, beat Denver week 17, win the wild card game, and then lose to Buffalo again in the playoffs. 94, which was the last season in Los Angeles, even though they went 99-7, they couldn't get in. They lost a few key games at the end. Uh, the last game against Kansas City, that was a straw. That was it. And that was it for the LA experience. It was tumultuous because Al Davis in '87 was looking to move to Arendelle or anywhere he could find a place. Uh, and in '89 he became so desperate, saying, "Okay, I want to go to anywhere that wants us, that wants a new building." So he was saying Sacramento. He was saying uh, back to Oakland, in which they had a preseason game in Oakland to butter up Oakland fans again. Uh, and then in the summer of '95, which I found crazy. It was July, I believe, of 1995. You know, about 2 weeks before preseason started, he moved the Raiders back to Oakland. And even though they moved, there was still a big fan base of Raider fans in LA, which became me. And even though I've moved, I'm still a big Raider fan. Uh, you know, forever in this. So, uh, 95 goes by. They have a great year, miss the playoffs. Uh, New head coach comes in. 96, 97, they miss the playoffs. 98, they make strides. Still miss the playoffs, but 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, they make a great run. Have Rich Gannon, who in the Raider system brought uh, fit in well because he was a player that nobody wanted, but uh, he fit in well, and all they had to do was throw. In '98, John Gruden became the head coach. It's just funny now in 2019 he is the head coach. um, yeah, '99 was the start of things where things got better. 2000, they lost to the Ravens. 2001, the Tuck rule, and they were for sure going to meet St. Louis in the Super Bowl, the Rams, but Patriots went on and won it all. Started this dynasty that's still going. 2002, Al Davis trades John Gruden to the Buccaneers. They face the Bucs in the Super Bowl. They know all the plays. They know everything the Raiders are doing. They lose the Super Bowl in San Diego. The Bucs go on to rout them. And then with the drought that really made football tough for me to watch. I mean, after a while, I was like, nah, this isn't. It's not good. So '03, Rich Gannon gets hurt. Tim Brown, who played from '88 till '03 with the Raiders, um, he retires the next year after being 1 year with the Bucs. Jerry Rice, who great 49er, became a Raider in 2000. Played with him through 2004, but then was traded to Seattle. Shout out Todd again. It was weird to see him in not only a Raider uniform, but then in the Seattle uniform wearing number 80. Of course, that's Steve Largent's number. And he tried out, I think, the next year with the uh, Broncos, but Rod Smith had number 80, so he had number 17 in training camp. At any rate, and then he never played with the Broncos, which would have been an odder look as well if he did. So 2004 goes by. They have a bad year. The Raiders again. Gary Collins at quarterback. It's a mix of young guys and then old retirees. 2005 they get Randy Moss, but same thing, and then Randy just quits on the team. Same thing in '06. The Raiders trade him. He does well with the Patriots because they're winning. The Raiders do so bad in I think 2006. They are 2-14. They get the first pick, Jamarcus Russell, and he goes on. He holds out, and he gets a big money contract, but it's slow and fat. But he can throw, but he can't run, and he doesn't study the plays. He likes purple drink, all this misery. Uh, and he was supposed to be the savior of the Raiders, but never happened because he just didn't care to play. Um, Benched right away, pretty much. Other guys come in. Uh, then we get to 2009, the 50th year of the Raiders in the AFL, NFL, and things start to change. And 2010, 2011, they go 8-8, but both times somehow don't make the playoffs. Tebow Magic in 2011, 2010 just wasn't enough. It was the San Diego ended up winning the division, and the Rays did bad enough not to get a wild card spot. So 2012 comes, 2013, 2014, same thing. Jason Campbell leaves. Carson Palmer comes in, but he gets hurt and he's not well enough to play. But he goes on to the Arizona Cardinals and plays better. That was just a lot of misery throughout the 2000s, the new millennium after '02. And then 2015 comes, and Derek Carr is not the starter when he becomes the Raider quarterback. He starts the season second string, and then becomes a starter, and he shows little flashes here and there. Uh, there's one game that always stood in my mind, and it was I believe it was 52-0 or 55-0. St. Louis Rams defeated the Oakland Raiders in St. Louis. And I remember Derek Carr saying he never wants to go through that again. So he becomes the starter. That was 2014. So 2015 he becomes a starter. They go 6-10, but again they show little flashes. They draft Amari Cooper 2016. They have great success. They go on to win. I believe what was it? Yeah, they get a wild card spot. They go 12 and no, what was it? Yeah, 12-4, and then somehow it got worse because Carr gets hurt and they lose in the wild card game. 2017 comes, Marshawn Lynch is there, and he's just there before Oakland. He's not there for anything else really. Plays, but he shows no restraint. He's crazy. They end up losing. They end up going 5-11. 2018 comes, they do worse. Marshawn just pretty much retires and quits. Carr just undevelops. Has a bad game. So, with all that being said, 2019 comes. And in February, I remember the question was, okay, are they moving to Vegas now? Was that their last year in Oakland? Is there somewhere they can play in Vegas? Like, because their lease is gone in Oakland, right? So they can't play. They don't have anywhere to play. Uh, They could play where the Giants play at Oracle Park. The 49ers stopped that. They say, okay, can they play with the 49ers? But that would be kind of weird. No. Can they play at UNLV? It's not football. It's not NFL standards, so they can't play there. They don't want to play outside either for the September, August months. So a month goes by and suspicion goes by of where they're going to go. Maybe San Diego, maybe Cal or Stanford or even the LA Coliseum, which would have been crazy again. But I was hoping they would have come to San Diego, but Oakland said, "Hey, we'll take the money. We'll keep you here for one more year," and they did. This is it, 2019. So got the history from 60s. There was Jim Otto. There was Daryl LaMonica, John Madden, Clem Daniels, Art Powell, Connors, Davidson. Um, Warren Wells, who just recently passed away. So many other great players with the Raiders at that time. 70s come. George Blanda was 60s and 70s, but Kenny Stabler, uh, Mark Van Eden, Dave Casper, Cliff Branch, who just passed away, Fred Bolitnikoff, Gene Upshaw, Art Shell, uh, Phil Papiano, uh, Jack Tatum, George Anderson, Otis Strunick, uh, Skip Thomas, Dr. Death. That was the 70s there. 80s with the LA Raiders. It was Todd Christensen, who passed away, Howie Long, Jim Plunkett, Marcus Allen, Bo Jackson, uh, Lyle Zalu, Rod Martin, Steve Wininski, who became the 90s as well. Um, Trying to think of others that people would know, but Mike Haynes, Mike Daniels, um, uh, Mark Wilson, I guess you could throw him in there. Kenny King, who was at the convention in San Diego, didn't go. I should have, but was with people. Um, Dookie Williams, Van McElroy, all these great Raiders from the 80s, 90s, and you have, it's just weird. Eric Dickerson was there, Roger Craig was there at running backs with Marcus. I believe that was a crazy factor about why the Raiders did so bad and why they didn't stay in LA was because Marcus Allen wasn't used anymore. He violated some code with Al, which was awful. And they could have had a chance to draft Dan Marino, but there were questions about him and marijuana, but it was his roommate smoking. At any rate, 90s come and Tim Brown. It's obviously I think the best Raider that I know. I guess because growing up I had him, Anthony Smith, Jeff Hostetler. Uh, I forgot Lester Hayes in the 80s. That's what I was thinking of. 90s, there was more like Harvey Williams, Napoleon Kaufman, James Jett, Willie Gault. Uh, just to name a few. 2000s come, you have Rich Gannon, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Justin Fargas. It's just one of the UFC names I like to throw in there. Jerry Porter, Bill Romanowski, Trace Armstrong, Rod Woodson, Charles Woodson. Um, I guess you could throw Jason Campbell in there. uh, Charlie Gardner. Thank you. Uh, Doug Jolly. Uh, Ricky Dudley. You go 2010s, you go, I guess, Derek Carr, Darren McFadden, Jacoby Ford, what's the Predator, the wide receiver, I'm trying to think of, Zach Miller, Michael Rivera, uh, Marshawn Lynch, I guess you throw in there. Defensively, of course, Khalil Mack, Defensive Player of the Year in 2016. Uh, it's depressing. So those are just a few names of the 60th year anniversary of the Raiders. Just want to give those guys shout outs, and I just hope there's more coming in the future. I always said the what was it? The brightest flame is the future of our team, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Las Vegas goes. But for now, let's do just a breakdown quickly of the Oakland Raiders of 2019. Um, Quarterback, of course, you have Derek Carr. Had a subpar year, but there were hopes that his fortunes would turn. But we'll see. They did draft a wide receiver named Hunter Renfro, who will help out receiving wise. The backup two will be Mike Glennon or Deshaun Kaiser. Uh, David Peterman, who showed a little bit in preseason, was released for some reason. I don't know. But Derek Carr will be the starter, of course. And then receivers, you have Terrell Williams, who's with the Chargers, Hunter Renfro, Ryan Grant. On the other side, you have J.J. Nelson, Dwayne Harris, who's a special teamer. And they brought back Keelan Doss, which I hope we'll see because he did so well in college at UC Davis, which, as a Division II school, they're the best Division II school out on the West Coast, and he broke records there receiving. So I want to see him. At running back, the other offensive rookie in the draft, Josh Jacobs from Alabama. Gruden says he can be the rookie of the year. We'll see. Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington, already from a couple years past being the backups to Marshawn and other running backs before. Fullback Alex Ingold. Offensive line, Gabe Jackson, Rodney Hudson, Colton Miller, of course, the young guy, Jonathan Cooper, leading the offensive line. I won't go through all the names. Uh, Darren Waller, Austin Morneau, Derek Carrier are the tight ends. Young and two rookies. It's kind of scary there, I guess you could say. But a defense, you have Clyan Farrell, who was the number 3 pick of the Raiders in the draft, and he's the defensive end. And I didn't know this, but Corey Luchet was released by the Chargers. Now he's with the Raiders, so he will be along with Maurice Hurst and Jonathan Hankins and P.J. Hall, defensive tackle. On the other side, the defensive end, Arden Key had a great preseason along with Farrell. The linebackers, Whitehead, Perfect, and Morrow. There's also Lee. At a corner, you have Worry, Conley, Mullen, Nixon, Conley, of course, there are high hopes for him to be really good, but we'll see. From the Rams, you have Lamarcus Joyner at free safety. Jonathan Abram, Curtis Riley at a strong safety. Carl Joseph, who's uh, he's coming on. He's a pretty good safety. And Eric Harris is there. Kicker, you have Daniel Carlson, and punter, you have AJ Cole. Kick returner Dwayne Harris, punt returners Dwayne Harris, but Jalen Richard will be there as well. As for the season, the Raiders really have a tough schedule, and they seem like they always do. And it should be noted that in their last season in Oakland, they do not play the Steelers. They did last year, but I think it would have been fitting if they did play the Steelers. Uh, so it goes. Of course, they start tomorrow. This is Sunday. We're tomorrow, or the last Monday night game in Oakland. Fitting it's against Denver, and that's tomorrow night. Then they play Kansas City, their last game in Oakland. Week 3, they go to Minnesota. Shout out Carlos. Y'all probably win. Week 4, they go to the Colts, which they lost in overtime to Chargers. Week 5, the Bears come to Oakland. That'll be fun. I'm sorry, they go to no. That's in London. Yeah, never mind. That's in London. Duh. Week 7, they go to. Week 6 is a bye. Week 7, they go to Green Bay. So shout out Daniel. Week 8, they go to Houston on my birthday. Week 9, they host week Detroit. Week 10, they host the Chargers for the last time in Oakland. Bengals in Oakland. They go to New Jersey, play the Jets. Week 12. Week 13, they go to Kansas City. Week 14, home against Tennessee. Week 15, the last home game in Oakland against Jacksonville. Week 16, they come to LA. Week 17, they end up in Denver. With all that being said, there's not many wins I see in the schedule. All there is hope that there is progression being made, and that injuries are limited. That's for everybody, of course. Um, I see the Raiders' best being 6-10 or 5-11. The whole Antonio Brown situation, which I just wanted to say, I don't know what's wrong with him, and I wonder if it's CTE from the hit he took from his camp teammate, Vontae's Perfect. But I wonder what happened in his head, like what's been going on the last couple of years. There's a reason why Pittsburgh traded him. There's a reason why the Raiders are releasing him. You've seen the timeline, you've seen the news. I'm just happy he's gone. He never played a game with the Raiders. Not preseason, not regular season, nothing. So hopefully it will just go down as someone who's just he capped and gone. Even though players liked him, but he broke so many rules. He was disruptive. It was just terrifying probably to work with if you're trying to get him in sync with everybody else. So it's just funny. A few hours later, jokingly, I say when he's released, I say watch New England picks him up. New England picks him up, and good luck. We'll see how that goes. Of course, the Patriots always try to, bring in someone who's lost with all the other teams, and they either work out or they not. They're easy to release whomever they've ever got in the Patriot system, just like Al did with the Raiders, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. So for that Antonio Brown situation, it's just I'm just happy it's over. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and hopefully with the Raiders starting tomorrow night, they could just play like nothing happened. They could just forget about what happened and just try to win one more time on Monday night against Denver. And by the way, Al Davis, hate him or love him, he passed away in 2011. I never really understood the moves he made growing up, and now I see what happened, but I don't like him. About the moving back and forth, Oakland, LA, Oakland, or the players that crossed him, didn't play him, or traded him, or there was just too much of that going on. So, you know, he did make the Raiders, but it seemed like over time he lost the Raiders. And look at how they are now. They still didn't get a new stadium in Oakland going back. Didn't get one in LA. You know, had to fight with the league to move to LA in the first place. And they still don't have their stadium until next year in Las Vegas. And leaving Oakland twice for those people old enough, it's heart wrenching. It's to me, and I always say this, and it's always a joke, but it's like it hits. It doesn't hit personally, but it hits the people I've known. Where it's like a father being there, and then he leaves, and the father is Oakland. The son. I mean, the father is the Raiders. Oakland is the son. So he's there for a little while. He gets frustrated. He wants better, new and better things. He leaves the family to LA, and the Raiders really aren't the same in LA, even though they win a Super Bowl, but they lose more than they do win. The father comes back to LA, back to Oakland from LA, and you have to embrace him again like nothing happened. They lose, they win, and then they really lose. He gets frustrated again, and the father leaves and finds something new one more time in Las Vegas. So for those Oakland fans, I'm amazed at the loyalty. I'm amazed at the non-attempts to burn any Raider stuff. I mean, there were videos where people are leaving stuff at the Raider facility in Oakland, but nothing was burnt. It wasn't like the Chargers situation. It wasn't like I don't know if anybody burnt St. Louis Rams stuff. I don't think so because I don't think they had any more fans after a while. It certainly showed with the attendance at the dome. But they were burning stuff in San Diego, and I guess rightfully so. You get to do whatever you want to. I don't care. But the loyalty with the Raiders is just, hey, they can play on. I heard people say, hey, they can play on Mars, and I'll still be a fan. I'll go. So no matter where the Raiders go, we'll be there, and it shows worldwide, and even galaxy wide in some cases. So for the 2019 season, all I can see is slight improvement for the team, and I guess 6-10 it would be the high point. The low point, of course, would be like 2-14 or 3-13. Uh, all I can say is like it's it would be something just to remember the good times in Oakland, and even though it's hard, try to embrace the new times they're gonna have in Las Vegas, and just try to uh, hope for something better. I mean, this organization just hasn't been good the last few years, and now with Gruden and Mayock, uh, no one wants to seem to come there, even though Tony Brown was there, and there was friction all right away. But most of that could have been Brown. But the history lesson is because they didn't. Gruden wanted Khalil Mack in there because Gruden wanted his style, but uh, and Gruden traded Mack, and Mack had more sacks than the Rangers did combined with Chicago. So that's always disheartening to hear about Raiders going to different places and doing better. Uh, but somehow we're still fans, still loyal, and just hoping for better. That's all you can hope for. And I guess, as Michael Jordan said, which makes no sense, the ceiling is the roof. Think about it yourselves as you go to sleep tonight. Think about that. The ceiling is the roof. I don't know what Michael was saying. I probably drunk at the time, or just was running out of things to say, counting his money. I don't know. So with that, this has been a preview of the last Oakland Raiders season in Oakland for 2019. The games begin as Week One has already started and been done, except the two games on Monday night. There's Houston, New Orleans, and then Denver and Oakland Raiders. So hopefully, I'll do a weekly show of the Raiders and talk about what happened. Weekly, maybe every Thursday or Friday, I'll come out with a show and preview the next week, talk about the week before, and odds and ends of what's going on, and then we'll go from there about the 2019 Oakland Raiders in the future, of course. So this has been a good episode, and even though I'm sitting in the chair, I'm not going to call it probably the chair. It's going to be just a special edition of my channel, and I hope get others to subscribe to it and watch it. And any Raider fans you know out there, just tag them and see what happens. So for me, James, it's been fun, and I'll see you sometime later this week about after week one. We'll talk about week two, and we'll go from there on this journey of 2019. So we'll see. Bye.